The Lion's Shadow. The jagged spine of the Ethiopian highlands rises against a blood-red dawn, where the Blue Nile carves secrets through ancient basalt and the chants of priests echo from Lalabella's stone-hewn sanctuaries. It is October 3rd, 1935. Emperor Haile Selassie I, the conquering Lion of Judah, elect of God, stands within the quiet halls of his palace in Addis Ababa. 44 years old, robed in crimson silk, the weight of his ancestors rests upon his shoulders as he gazes northward, where 500,000 Italian invaders gather like a storm on the horizon. Mussolini's fascist war machine advances with tanks, bombers, and a weapon darker than steel, mustard gas, outlawed by the Geneva Pact. The League of Nations hesitates, hands stained with indecision, while Ethiopia prepares to resist with faith, courage, and the last embers of hope. Haile Selassie whispers a promise meant for all Africa: we fight for every free people. This is the story of defiance, betrayal, and the lion's roar that sparked the fires of decolonization. Empire's grudge, the seeds of vengeance. To understand Mussolini's obsession, we return to 1896, to Adwa, where Emperor Menelik II shattered the pride of Italy's colonial ambitions. 100,000 Ethiopian warriors, some armed only with spears, outmaneuvered the Italian forces and sent them fleeing in disgrace. It was the first major African victory over a European empire, and its echo thundered across the world. Italy never forgot, and Mussolini would not forgive. By the 1930s, the Duce, drunk on visions of empire, sought to claim the jewel Italy lost at Adwa. Meanwhile, the young Rastafari Makonnen, later Haile Selassie, modernized Ethiopia, building schools, reforming the military, and securing a seat in the League of Nations. But trouble simmered on the Ogaden frontier. In December 1934, Ethiopian troops clashed with Italian forces at Wal Wal, a barren desert outpost claimed by both sides. Casualties inflamed Rome's newspapers. Propaganda painted Ethiopia as backward and uncivilized, and Mussolini seized a moment. The League of Nations investigated the incident, but fumbled its response. Sanctions were weak. Oil remained untouched. And, in a stunning twist of injustice, the arms embargo applied to Ethiopia, the victim, as well as to Italy. On October 2nd, 1935, Selassie warned Geneva, "The hearts of my people burn for justice." At dawn the next morning, Italy invaded, spears against the storm. War consumed the highlands. Italian General de Bono advanced cautiously at first, capturing Adwa without bloodshed. But Mussolini demanded speed. He replaced de Bono with Marshal Pietro Badoglio, a ruthless tactician who arrived with more troops, more aircraft, and orders to break the Ethiopian resistance by any means, including the forbidden use of poison gas. Ethiopian forces fought with impossible bravery. Ras Imru led tens of thousands over the jagged peaks of Tigray, while Ras Desta defended the south with what little equipment he had, at Abaya, at Shire, at Tembien. Ethiopian warriors briefly turned back fascist columns through sheer will and the strength of their numbers. But the skies belonged to Italy. Poisonous clouds poured from bombers, burning skin, blinding soldiers, and turning rivers into deadly streams. Entire units suffocated where they stood. There was no defense against the yellow fog. Still, Ethiopia fought on. Men charged into machine gun fire with shields of hippo hide. Children carried ammunition up cliffs under fire. Priests marched alongside warriors, chanting ancient hymns against the roar of artillery. At Mechu in late March 1936, Haile Selassie's own Imperial Guard made a final desperate stand. For hours they held the line, but Italian armor and chemical weapons overwhelmed them. Ethiopia's defenses collapsed. The road to Addis Ababa lay open. The fall and the poisoned crown. On May 5, 1936, Italian forces entered Addis Ababa. The city was silent. The emperor had chosen exile to ensure the survival of his nation's cause. From Rome, Mussolini proclaimed the birth of his new African empire, but fascist rule brought terror. Resistance fighters, the Armagnac or patriots, rose in every province. They sabotaged railways, ambushed convoys, and kept the dream of liberation alive in the mountains. The occupation turned brutal. After an assassination attempt on the Viceroy Rodolfo Graziani in 1937, Italian forces executed more than 30,000 civilians in a massacre now etched into Ethiopian memory. Entire monasteries were destroyed. Priests and monks were murdered simply for existing. Meanwhile, Selassie stood before the League of Nations with a warning that echoed across decades. It is us today. It will be you tomorrow. His words were ignored. But the world would soon learn their truth as Europe plunged toward World War II. The Lion's eternal vigil. The war took a terrible toll. More than 250,000 Ethiopians lost their lives, many to chemical attacks. Yet the spirit of resistance never died. In 1941, during World War II, Allied forces joined Ethiopian patriots to drive out the Italians. On May 5th, exactly 5 years after the fall of Addis Ababa, Haile Selassie returned to his capital in triumph. His victory inspired a generation of African leaders, from Nkrumah to Mandela, fueling the continent's march toward independence. Selassie would later help found the Organization of African Unity, lighting the torch of decolonization for nations yet to rise. Today, Ethiopia stands proud. Its scars are a reminder of the price of sovereignty. The legacy of the Lion of Judah, resistance, resilience, and unity, continues to echo across Africa. If this story moved you, join the journey. Like, share, and subscribe for more untold African histories. Fidel, Ashenify. Sources include the works of Anthony Mockler, Baru Zaude, Haile Selassie's own writings, and archival League of Nations records. Thank you for watching. Peace from the Highlands.